Yeah, exactly. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is another edition of our weekly real estate backstory. We talk about the comings and goings, everything happening in the real estate world. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker here.
My name's Ming Richardson, the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
And we kind of want to start off talking about mortgage rates today. And more than just are they up, are they down, that kind of stuff. Where we're at is that is 7% the new normal for mortgage rates. Like that's a hard thing for a lot of people to get their head around. But it seems like the group or entity that's having the hardest time getting their head around the fact that 7% is moving into the normal range are realtors. The real estate professionals are the ones who are having a hard time. I totally understand, buyers. We had some buyer friends that, I can remember when it was 3.5%, and they'd be
And
like,
they hesitated.
we're just going to wait.
Well, they hesitated because the competition was fierce at that time.
Yeah.
So, and therefore, rather than looking at a house they really like and then get outbidded, they just gave up.
Right. And so I understand buyers having some remorse for missing out on rates. And then, we do have some sellers that will just sit there and wait in turn. But, for a lot of us in the real estate world, we have to understand that, listen, life is still going on. We're still selling around 11,000 houses every single day. And that while 7% may not be optimum, that's our new normal. That's what we've kind of got to get our head around is the fact that this is the market that we're in. These are what we're really focused on doing. On being able to service and provide for our clients. So like the message isn't let's wait for rates to come down, because that's not realistic. We've been waiting for rates to come down for the last year and a half. And if you postpone your business waiting for rates to come down, then you're putting your business in the hands of someone or some entity or something
you're
out there.
You're hoping for the best. While, if we all had a crystal ball, I think we'll all be millionaires. But at the same time,
that would be nice.
You got to fit what your needs of your family. So the longer you wait, the less wealth you will build in the long run.
Right. Because, there was a new study out just this past week. And so we want to share this with you. And in there, they talk about the fact that it's not about interest rates. Like what is the main reason why the buyer has not purchased? Number one,
not enough
inventory.
Available home and a purchase price, but it's also correlate with interest rate just a little bit.
It does.
Because,
I'm not saying interest rates aren't important. I don't mean to minimize that impact, but like what we can't do is just wait around and think that oh well. Meanwhile, a lot of folks are out doing a lot of business still right now. We have a lot of folks that are having their best years ever, because yes, I understand that I don't love the rates, but this is where we're at.
Absolutely.
And so like if you've got kids on the way, if you have life changes, if you're getting moved around, there is still life going on, and we can pigeonhole ourselves into believing that no, this is how it is, the market's dying out, and it's not. There's still a lot of activity going on. One of our biggest challenges is still though availability. We need more inventory. We need more properties just to be able to talk about and to offer. So those are the biggies out there. There's still 9% of our buyers that are waiting for prices to drop. And I hate to break it to you, but you probably, like if you don't want to wait like this price, you're probably not going to like what continues to happen. We see no signs of property values abating. And I'll be even sharing some data about that here in just a minute as well. So now, just this past week, there was some news, consumer price index and core inflation. And so you have these two numbers. You have headline CPI and then you have core CPI. And what headline is that, and that's the one that went up. Headline is your inflation plus, and that includes energy, meaning gas, as well as food. And both of those are normally really, really volatile. So you normally kick those out. And so we look at core inflation. Now, core inflation continued to decline, and
Correct.
that's good. But headline inflation, the inflation that includes gas and food, that went up. And so that caused everybody in the markets to kind of like, so they puckered up a little bit. And then that caused us where we're at again this week. And so this week, our mortgage rates are sitting at 7.18. And so again, is 7% that normal? It sure looks like it's like that's the normal we are. We're moving back to the days when you would buy that first mortgage or buy that first home with an FHA mortgage and you refinance in a couple of years. I think that's going to be a very realistic play for moving forward right now.
If not, buy down the rates, at least for the next couple of years. And we do feel like right around election time, the mortgage will drop.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, inflation is continuing to work its way down, and interest rates are highly tied to inflation. And as inflation,
and I will tell you, Jerome Powell made an announcement that he's committed to make sure the interest rate's going down. So I don't know at what cost of the economy, but at the same time, he's made a commitment that he is going to maintain the steady, slow decline of the interest rate, of the inflation.
Yeah. So, and then we're heading into an election year. So, that interest rates are going to continue to be a big deal moving forward. Now, one other thing that came out from that survey we're talking about is they also polled folks who applied and were approved for a loan. And so the first thing is that 77% of people who apply for a loan are approved, 23% are declined. And so that, like I guess my initial go-to here is everyone needs to go get
and you guys,
put in their application.
Out of 23% that's declined, 41% of that has not applied. So about half of that has not applied, honestly. So about 10% of 23 has not applied. So that makes a difference. If they would just figure, and this comes down to
85,
right. So this comes down to buyer education. If you can just let your buyer know, say, hey, at least rather than deal with something that's unknown, let's deal with something for sure so we can make an action plan.
Well, and the other thing about getting that application in is, you don't want to take your buyers and you don't want your buyers to go look at houses that they can't afford. Because you take that buyer and they start looking for a $400,000 house and then come find out they can only afford a $300,000 house. Nothing looks as good. Nothing
looks good after you've seen a $400,000 home compared to
when you're shopping in the fours and then you have to now you're shopping in the threes. Not that a $300,000 house isn't a nice house. It's just a different. It's just a different expectation.
Correct.
It's a different size, different features, different amenities, that kind of thing. So, getting them approved is so important. It also it gets them started in the right path. They know what their payments are. The other side of that is our buyers are buying on payment, not on price. They don't understand what that is, but they do understand I got $1,400 a month or $1,800 a month, whatever that may be, as far as their monthly statement or monthly payment moving forward. So now at the same time is we're like, okay, interest rates are going up. All these things are happening. New home purchase mortgage applications are up 20%. And so, yes, some of the builders do have a few incentives, but not all of them. We're seeing where overall,
actually, because I bet they're buying down rates.
Well, and they are, but that's not the only reason. Like there's right now, inventory is where new construction is where a lot of our inventory is. Right now, between a third and up to 40% of our inventory is now new construction. Buyers can go buy homes in new construction neighborhoods. That's why you're seeing 20% purchase application increase by 20%. I know they're offering incentives. I'm not saying that they're not offering incentives, but to say that's the only reason why we're seeing mortgage applications up is not true. We are seeing it because they have inventory, and so and they're smart. If they can buy down the rates, they're going to do that, and that's those kind of things because it is. But we're seeing where that's a good place to go, and so making sure that we are comfortable in operating in new home environments and dealing with the builders is a very important play.
Absolutely.
Now, one place where we aren't seeing any activity going on is second home purchases. So when it comes to mortgages for second homes, those are down half of where they were during the pandemic.
You see the red line during pandemic. That's incredible.
Well, everybody wanted to go get that second home. We felt like we needed the social distance, so folks went and bought
you can't do any entertainment, so therefore now they're finding entertainment in backyard or in a second home where there's amenities or some sort of break from the normality.
Well, but we're just seeing what we're and that's equating over into some of those other second home markets, some of the mountain markets, as well as in the beaches, lakes, those kind of things that were heavy in the second home market. They're feeling the pinch a little bit more so right now. Now, one area that we did want to talk about is that in 2023, there is a big test to remote workers, meaning there is a ton of businesses talking about, okay, come on back. We got to come back. And this has been like, on one hand, it's a test because more employers now than ever are requiring employees to come back into the workplace. And we have had a lot of people that moved during that time.
The area.
We had some friends that moved like hundreds of miles away during this time, and now are being called back, and now are questioning, okay, do we need to move back? And so we are seeing how that's kind of going on. And so there was another recent study that went out and said, basically 1 in 10 home sellers are moving because they're being called back to the office. Now, that's not the only reason people move. And so in here, like still the biggest reason is folks want more space. They want to be with family, trying to save on cost of living, that kind of stuff, trying to find deals on that. But it's just interesting that 10% of folks are moving because of remote work. And we really do want to stress this, and it ties in with our initial point of, is 7% the new normal, right? There's still life going on. People still need bigger homes. People still want to be close to family, mom and dad, kids, that kind of stuff. Like life is still happening at 7%. And so understand that all these are different reasons, but they all tie back to the same thing. And that is that there is still a lot of activity going on in our marketplace.
Absolutely.
Now, overall, currently property values are up about 2.5% nationwide. And they're forecasting for the year to be up 3.5%. Now, I do like to stress, though, that it's not just national data, because when you look at it, like this is the nation laid out on property values, and so you can see that the West Coast
is suffering a little bit.
It's West Coast has lost value over the past year. Us here in Georgia, we're closer than that 5 to 7%. We're probably about 5.5, 6% property value increases, and there's several places that kind of runs, west to east as far as that goes. But just because California's housing market may be seeing a slight decline, yes, California has a lot of news about it. People talk about that quite a bit, but it's not always the real picture. And so we got to make sure that when you read a headline,
if you look at the Texas, it says it's in decline, but I can tell you right now, in certain market, Texas is still booming. So that's overall for Texas, not necessarily the location.
And all real estate's local still. Right. Yeah. So, overall, they also listed the top 10 markets at risk for a price decline. Guess what's not in there? Georgia. Atlanta. Yeah. Atlanta, Georgia, those kind of things are not what we're seeing at all right now. So we're seeing property value increases that are continuing to grow. Now, one thing that is falling, though, is contracts are falling out right now. About 16% of pending sales are falling out. So these are homes that go under contract and then go back out. 15% of them, and that's trending up right now. And we're seeing where the days of I'll do anything to get in this house.
Some of that is buyer remorse, and some of that or seller remorse, because what happened is the seller figure out, oh my goodness, I can't buy a home for what I want, even with the equity in my home, so therefore part of it is seller remorse. We actually have withdrawals after pending.
And there is some of that, but where we see probably the largest percentage of when contracts fall out is due to inspections. And so two things. One, if you are the buyer's agent, please go on that home inspection with the inspector. We're seeing especially first-time buyers get the daylight scared out of them in a home inspection. If their real estate pro isn't standing by their side being like, you know what, that's not really a big deal. Some of the home inspection reports just have some really crazy things written on them. And I understand
they're minor, y'all.
yeah. But
so have a conversation with the inspector to find out exactly. Like I had one that was talking about electrical panel. Anytime you talk about electrical, people go, oh my goodness. All it is just need 2 wire nuts to the loose end of the electrical wire, and that was it.
Yeah, but it's written of a licensed bonded electrical contractor must come and do da 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 da. We've seen things where, like, you know, a licensed bonded general contractor must replace the missing elbow on a downspout. So sometimes we also let our clients get scared because we're not there. So please be there during the home inspection. Listing agents, ask that the buyer's agent show up for the home inspection. I feel like this is one of those things that really should be happening. The largest reason why contracts fall out, it falls out during due diligence due to
miscommunication, misunderstanding.
Yeah, but it's all around that inspection process. Now, the other thing here is sellers. You gotta understand that this is not like we're moving into a more balanced market. Sellers can't be really hardcore about
even
things.
though low inventory was still, because interest rate and demand, we're not seeing as you'll take it as is and we're done.
Right.
And that's not the way it works.
We got to be smart about that. So new listings. Now you can see that our overall new listing inventory is really, really tight. However, what we're seeing is a little bit of an uptick. And so you can see that, nationwide, normally this time of year, new listings taper down. They taper down, boom, 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 boom. And we're still down year over year. There's no doubt about that. But even here in Georgia, in the Atlanta area, exact same kind of thing. Instead of trending down, we're trending up slightly, kind of thing. And so, yes, we're down 20% almost in new listings this year versus last year. However, that trend seems to be doing better. And I find that to be a very encouraging note, because again, yes, interest rates are high. What's our client's biggest concern? Inventory. We need more inventory. So we're seeing pending sales are starting to really level off. Yeah, almost there. Pending sales are really leveling off. But however, our sale price is still up about 4% year over year. And pending sales, those are still down. We just talked about that. Now, one thing that we want to kind of close out with here is, have you ever rented out part of your primary home, or do you plan to do so? And about 60% of the folks say no. 57% say, nah, I'm not going to do it. Never thought about it, that kind of stuff. The other 40% are thinking about it right now. And it's kind of an interesting thing, and now what we're finding is that younger sellers, younger property owners are the ones who are thinking about that. The older they are, the older you are, like me, nah, ain't nobody moving in with me, baby. That ain't happening, kind of thing. But younger folks are really doing that. Now, the other thing that came as part of this survey, which is very interesting, is said, if you decide to buy or rent another home in the future, are you going to consider renting out your current home rather than selling? And this is part of where our inventory issue comes, because what we're seeing is now we have some folks that are interested in buying, but they're going to buy and keep their existing home. So right now, that almost 60% of would-be sellers.
If you think about it, if you bought at 3% interest rate, your monthly mortgage is nothing, and you probably can net gain $800 easily on the average to rent it out.
So while we're not seeing second home sales, we are seeing investment sales that are really smart plays. And what we're seeing is there's more folks that are looking to buy to move up themselves, but then they're going to keep that existing home out there. And so that's really what's been going on. Now, at the same time, rents are not where we wanted them, or I'm sorry, rents are continuing to increase. It's 3.3% nationwide. Now in the Atlanta area, it's only like 0.2%.
It's dropping Atlanta.
Yeah, and so it is a little bit more moderated as far as what we're seeing happen in rent. And now, for those folks saying, "Listen, I'm waiting for property values to decline," CoreLogic just released their newest report, which showed what percentage of homes in Georgia, in the United States, have negative equity. And so you can see that in Georgia, we are really low. Only 1.8% of all the properties, 100 properties, 2 out of 100 properties have negative equity right now, meaning that they're less now than what their mortgage is, kind of thing. So the market's in a really safe place. There's a lot of really positive going on right there. So don't forget to get your swag at Maximum Market. And then this week, tomorrow we have growing your business through farming through Remind. That's going to be in our Conyers office.
Please take a moment and attend that class. It's changed some of the platforms.
Well, I mean, you can do such good. This is not Remind Docs. This is using Remind for
farming.
To grow your business. Wednesday, Martin is going to be teaching effective negotiating here in our McDonough office. And on Thursday, we have 1031 exchanges, which is a really timely thing
great class.
coming
a lot
in.
Of people asking for it.
Yeah, exactly. So hope you guys have a great week. If we can be of any kind of service, please call, text, smoke signals. We love y'all.
Thank you. Have a great Monday.
Bye-bye.
Take care.